King David Studio podcast.
I want to go back to marriage and talk about some of the incidences that I know. And you said it, standards are the problem. How do we avoid these problems? Help me. I meet a girl. Nice, beautiful. I love her. We do this love thing together. I had an extra 1,000 rands than she did. My life had an extra townhouse than she had. I found a selling quarters at the corner of the street. I loved her and I moved in with her in my townhouse. And our life got better and better. And now she doesn't want me anymore. Let me not blame me only. She doesn't want me anymore. But we married. What rights does she have? Because my logic says, leave with what you brought. You brought nothing, you leave with that. I leave with my townhouse and we're happy. Does she have a right to claim half of my townhouse, or is it based on the contract?
It's based on the marriage contract that you entered into.
Let's talk about that now. Which one will give her the right?
The marriage in community or property
gives her full rights.
Full rights to half of everything. But remember, half
even
of
if
everything.
She brought nothing. When
even if
came
she bought nothing, you don't need to bring anything. I got a little ratan, David.
I like how you blame love. You blame love. Love
I
is
don't,
the problem.
It's not the
You're
problem.
in love. That's your problem.
It's the cause and the cure.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's the result.
It's just how it is. So it was lovely when you guys met.
So
and we wanted to build a life together. Because
wait a minute.
You wanted to build a life together. How do you build a life together?
Okay. All right. Okay. It's the law.
Okay.
It's the law.
It's not the law. It's
No, we agreed on a community of property.
Okay.
We said we're doing this together.
Yes.
So the law says half.
Yes.
Okay. Which one doesn't give her anything?
If you're married out of community of property without the accrual.
Okay. You leave with what you brought. Do you have a right to debate it?
Yes, you can. It depends. It depends.
It does.
It always depends.
Give me a scenario that would, and I simplified this by making this couple basic.
Okay.
They don't have fancy things. They have a townhouse.
Yes.
And they met 2 years ago.
Okay. So in those circumstances, you see, you met 2 years ago, you're already getting a divorce.
It happens.
It happens.
Yeah.
Now, it depends. You are married out of community or property without accrual. So already it means that there is a contract that you entered into before you solemnized your marriage.
Okay.
That contract says that I come in with this, you come in with this.
So there would be...
If you did have assets.
Okay.
Yes. If you did have assets before.
When we got this thing together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. But if so you come in with this, I come in with this, and we come together to say that we are going to get married. So what's yours is yours, what's mine is mine.
That's out of community of property.
Out of community of property, we are clear without any accrual. So everything that I get in my name. Everything that you get in your name. Now, what couples sometimes do is that they want to confuse this. They start getting joint assets. And that's where the problem comes in.
You find the contract was clear.
The contract was clear.
But now
you've contracted outside of that contract.
Yo.
So when you've contracted like that, it means that whatever properties, assets that you've both entered into and you're both signatories to belong to the two of you. On divorce,
because you've created a parallel contract.
You have,
whether it's in paper form or it's implied. It's there.
But you see, the implied one is quite difficult because now you must prove
this arrangement.
And who is making the money or who is making the payments rather towards that asset, whatever it is that you have. If you're claiming Lori, okay, show us that you are also contributing to it. But long story short, that out and out is best case scenario.
Where we met, fell in love, married you, I want to marry, and you say, great. But out of community of property, now second step is, what do you have? What do I have?
Yes.
I have bicycle. You have Mercedes. And okay, good. We put it on paper. Basically, we're preparing for should this thing not work.
Yes.
You take your Mercedes. I take my bicycle. We're all happy.
We're all happy. And everything else that you accrue in that marriage as well.
So explain that, because there's another version of with accrual.
Yes. So now if it's out and out, remember now you're getting things in your respective names separately.
Yes.
So I'll get things under Tshepho, David under Libitsola David.
And I carry
house,
on.
car, whatever. I cannot come and say, well, I can say, Lord, I was contributing financially to that. It's just a mess. It can be a mess if it brings up. But again, you've got that contract that said, this is what you guys had agreed to initially. If there's circumstances, or if you can prove that you had a financial contribution to it, and you are saying that it was the agreement between the two of us, that
implied, not written, just spoken,
but it also have to be supported by other things,
evidence,
yeah. Emails, WhatsApps, SMSs. Baby, ke patetse half ya.
Hey.
Baby, I paid half of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you need to pay the other half, all of those things. Though everything, when it's love, it's love. When it's war, it's war. So all of those things now get used against you to say, Lord, no.
I have a point, and it keeps nagging me in the back of my mind. And if I don't raise it now, I'm sure somebody will say, "Mar David, you missed the chance there." I keep very few SMSs on my phone. I hate a cluttered phone. I hate going through my phone and I see last week's message. It's done. The discussion was done. It's completed. I delete it. I don't know hard conversations. And and what you're telling me sounds like I should. I promise you, it does. I don't keep record of what I buy you. I don't. I won't. I went to the shop and I buy you sneakers and I move on. And I imagine you, when you buy me dinner, you're going to keep the receipt. It sounds like I should.
Well, all I'm saying is that when it's war, everything comes out.
Even receipts will come out. Receipts, say holiday at Kruger National Park 20 years ago.
Comes out. Goodness. Like, you'll be shocked at the amount of detail. I'll never forget when I was still a candidate in my candidate years, this lady comes with a towel that she claimed was the towel that the husband used after having sex with one of his concubines. And she brings it to the office as evidence that this is
the cause of the mess, if anything.
So you see, it's very extreme, but
it gives detail.
Clients do that. Like, clients do divorce. I don't know if it brings out a different person altogether.
Animal.
And an animal,
Yes.
but those things come out. So you will see someone bringing you a WhatsApp that they've saved. A WhatsApp conversation that they saved. Email conversations that have been saved. All of those things. And now they're being used against you.
That's amazing.
To prove that, yes,
this is, or the life you maintain.
Yes, this is what we agreed upon verbally. But because I can't prove the verbal agreement, this is the evidence to show that you were acting in terms of that verbal contract that we created.
So you find people approach, because it sounds like a very corporate approach to it, where we spoke on the phone. I said, hey, man, we're going to do A, B, C, and D. And then you follow up with an email. As per our conversation.
Very corporate.
So now there's a...
Now we've reduced, exactly.
Now we're creating paper trail.
And then when you don't respond... that is the last communication. So if you don't respond,
I can defend that. I don't know what she was talking about. She's lying.
But you didn't respond. But here's prima facie proof.
No, well, saying as per our agreement, we are going to Bilabela. I did not respond. I don't know what she's talking about.
Did you go to Bilabela?
I didn't.
Are there photos of Bilabela?
Yeah.
But it's messy, man. It's messy, and I don't want people to think that the law is something that can be broken or whatever. But the reality is that we always deal with what we call prima facie evidence.
Yeah.
So what can you produce to prove your case? He who alleges must prove. That's the basic of it. So if you're saying that there is a contract and we've contracted out and out, then the prima facie is that everything that is in my name is in my name. It belongs to me. If you are saying that, yes, we've got a contract, but that car, I contributed to it, he who alleges must prove.
Receipt.
Show us. So that we can then make a determination on that aspect, on that one that is disputed. But the nice thing about that is that not everything becomes disputed, you see, because there will be specific things that will be disputed from that marriage.
Have you seen a situation where people claiming gifts?
Yes. You know, they would want to say no. This previous client of mine, just very recently, was given a Mercedes-Benz as a gift.
I want to meet your clients.
An ML.
Yeah.
And apparently now, the husband during the divorce first started saying that he wants it back, you know? And client is saying, no, this was given as a gift to me. So those things specifically, they're excluded. So even in the contract, you'll see a basic antenuptial contract without the accrual would state that they're entering into this marriage out of communal property with the exclusion of accrual, and they agree that any gifts and donations between the parties will remain in their respective.
Wow. The law acknowledges.
It acknowledges that. Now, still, if it's been given as a gift or a donation, it's like now you must put it in writing that
this is a gift.
This is a gift. But you see, the nice thing is that when you give people, sometimes you want to take pictures.
Yes.
Hey,
it's
my wife, be
box.
my wife.
There's a ribbon. So those you have to prove the elements of it being a gift. That this is a gift.
Exactly. That's a gift.
It's circumstance. How do I prove that it's a gift? It's not a gift.
He who alleges must prove.
She was using it. She was using it because it was a spare car in the yard.
Hey, then show us that.
It wasn't hers.
It wasn't hers.
It's in my name. Oh, no, I wrote it in her name. See, already I'm confused. I'm entangled in my own words.
You wrote it in her name. Why? Isn't it a gift? Are you trying to evade creditors?
No, I'm trying to see a loophole here.
No, don't do it.
If it's not in her name, then if it's not hers, it mustn't be in her name. Because
if it's not hers,
it mustn't be in her name.
Why is it in her name if it's not hers?
Then it means it must have been a gift.
It has to be.
Yeah. Okay, let's try to break the law. The circumstances where we're married and we have all this and we are divorcing, how do I avoid being caught up in a situation where I'm paying all these things? And you've answered it in a lot of different ways. And I'm hoping your answer will be don't keep receipts. Don't, you see what I mean? Don't avoid. What do you say to a guy or a girl, for that matter, who's made a lot of money and who just met someone and they love them and I want to make this person my person. You can already tell that they are not ambitious. There's a lot going that's not right. But you love them. How do you protect yourself in a situation like that? Because marriages end. That's why you're in business. Is how do you protect yourself in this? How do I avoid a mess later on?
The mess is always contractual. So the problem is we either don't know what type of marriages we're going into, or we are not explained, or it's not even being explained because you can get the resources to get the information for you to make an informed decision.
Of course. It's not that information is not available.
It's not that it's not available. Yeah. I mean, we're having this podcast now.
That's it.
So educate yourself. You're making one of the biggest decisions of your life.
Yeah.
How do you not want to take and spare a few thousand rands so that you can be in a better position to know that what are my options? What is the effect of even me starting to go and kilo kokota for Maradi?
Yes.
You know, I was so impressed with my previous clients. They came to me before even that process of magadi, you know, because they wanted to know what is it that we need to know so that we can secure ourselves and our future, because we are starting this journey. So inform yourself, David. Like there's no way around it. If you don't know, get someone that can help you make an informed decision. And again, the contract will always save you.
Yeah.
Because later on, and I will say I think 80% of my uncontested divorces had to do with contracts.
The contract was clear.
The contract was very clear. They were married out of community of property without the accrual. And it was very clear. Very, very clear. Even the wives, like, you know, you can't fight that kind of divorce. You can try, but it's like, oh, now I need to find the receipt and find whatever to prove that, you know, it. If you're petty, yes, you can go into those details. But if you're really not petty and you can see, Lord, this really is the end of the marriage, then really that is it. Yes, we'll have troubles, you know, when you're trying to get the other spouse to sign here and there. But there's no room for you to contest.
Yes,
like you can't wiggle around it, because the contract, when you entered into the marriage, was very clear.
Because you were going back to your statement, you were both informed of what you were doing.
Both informed of what you were doing. So even if you got the proper advice, they would have told you that, you see this one here, there's no mshiga shika. Yeah, like it's tied. Like you are in this for love.
Yeah.
Don't want to, at the end of the love, when it falls or it fails, want to claim assets.
You're not going to get nothing.
Even the asset, you know, pensions, investments, all of those things are excluded in an antenuptial contract.
Yeah.
You know, because you have to think of those things. It's not just your house and cars, assets. It's investments. It's everything.
It's money that we don't see physically.
It's money that we don't see.
Yes.
But you know, one thing that I've realized that I think some people don't actually get, or some business people, is that even your directorship or shareholding in companies becomes the
part of the estate.
Part of the estate.
Wait a minute.
When you're married in community of property.
Aha, okay. Your directorship is an entity that you carry with you all the time.
Yes.
When you walk into this room, you are a director.
But remember also, very importantly, it's not just the director. Because part of governance is that a director is an employee of the shareholder.
Explain. Keep going.
So you have a shareholder, and then you have directors. The shareholders employ what?
True.
The directors.
Yes. Yes, got it. 100%.
So you can be a director of the company, but you get divorced and you're married in community of property, but your wife or your husband does not have a share to the company because you're not a shareholder.
You're an employee.
You're an employee. You are only employed as a director.
Yeah.
So all of those things now, it goes back to the importance now of what? The contract, and also the contract of the Bible of the company.
That's it.
The memorandum of incorporation. Because what does it say? In the shareholders agreement, what does it say? If there is a succession plan in place to say that, you know, some companies, some have to dissolve on the death of another partner. Why? Because
they brought everything to their life, essentially. Their directorship, shareholding is tied with everything they're doing.
Everything that they're doing. So when you pass away now, it also needs to dissolve. So even now, part of the contracts that you need to be very wary of are also those contracts in your business to make sure that the director is only the employee. The shareholders have a shareholding. In terms of a percentage, they'll have their shareholders certificate to prove their shareholding in the company. They employ the directors.
Yeah.
So even that Bible of the company needs to incorporate some clauses there
that clears them from your love life. Yes.
And this is why many people get it very wrong, because I got to register the company go CIPC, and then you use the templates go CIPC
as is
standard form.
Yeah. you register a company, because now it's getting to where it's going in that direction. You register a company, it becomes a success. CIPC, fill those standard forms. You are the director. We are married in community of property, but this business is yours on paper. It doesn't see me at all, that business. The paperwork, when they inquire, they find only you. And the business borrows lots of money. And it gets in trouble. I'm minding my business, working at ABSA. You are running this successful business that ends up getting in trouble. And it now owes millions of rents to many people. Am I part of your debts? We're in community of property.
Yes.
I'm part of...
What's yours is mine. What's mine is yours. What's yours is mine.
Oh, boy.
What is the business? It's either an asset or a liability.
Yes. That's
so in this case, it's
or.
either an asset or a liability. And if it's now becoming a liability, it's no longer a success. It's now becoming a liability.
For both of us.
And for both of us.
Because when it's doing well, it's for both of us.
It's for both of us. Exactly.
King David Studio Podcast.